Okay, converting rates and measurements. A dimensional analysis is the process of including units of measurement as factors when you compute. That will become more clear as we work through some examples. So let's jump straight into the idea of using units of measurement. It becomes very, very critical that we label everything as we do this type of work. So we're always going to have labels involved as we factor these things. We're going to convert miles per hour to miles per minute. And so if I set something up where I have miles over hours, what I want to end up with is miles over minutes. And when you're multiplying things in fraction form like this, what do I know about things that are diagonal from one another? They reduce, they cross cancel. And so we're going to use units of measurement. The units themselves are going to cancel each other out, not just the numbers that we're using. So we can cancel out things like units of measurement as well as canceling numbers or reducing the numerical part of the fraction. We also can cancel out the units of measure themselves. So let's convert 760 miles per hour, and we'll write it as 760. We have to label it miles over 1 hour, and I want to multiply by a conversion factor. And the conversion factor is what's going to allow me to change hours into minutes. And so if I want to cancel out hours right here, what do I have to put on top of this one?
16 an hour?
I have to put an hour right here. I have to have this one labeled as hours so that that unit of measurement will cancel out. Well, how many minutes is in 1 hour? 60 minutes. Okay. Now let's pause right here before we do any math and think about what I'm doing. 1 hour and 60 minutes are the same thing, right? So what property am I using right here as my conversion factor?
Commutative. The one. Identity.
Identity property of multiplication. Okay? Because I'm multiplying by 1. 1 hour and 60 minutes are the same thing. I'm not changing the value of 760 miles an hour. All I'm doing is changing the unit of measurement. It's still going to be the same speed. I don't change the speed, I just change the way that we evaluate the speed, if that makes sense. So here's how we can do this. We can cancel out hours, and then when you have fractions, you multiply straight across. So I can multiply 760, leave it labeled as miles, and I can put that over 60 minutes. So 760 miles in 60 minutes is the same thing as 760 miles in 1 hour, right? Now what do I do as my last step to get the unit rate?
Reduce. No, change to. You gotta
Divide.
12.6 repeated.
12.6, we'd round that to 12.7 miles in what? 1 minute. Okay, so 12.7 miles a minute is the exact same thing as 760 miles an hour. Okay? We just changed the unit of measurement. We didn't change the speed.
That's a lot of miles.
That's a lot of miles. That's very fast. That's like a fighter jet kind of plane, yeah. Okay. Now, let's look at some more examples. The average teenager spends $1,742 per year on fashion-related items.
Not me. Oops.
I'm with you there, not me either. How much is this per week? So we're going to change dollars per year into dollars per week. So let's set up our first, the information that we're given is $1,742 in 1 year. Now I want to change it into what?
1 week.
I want to end up with dollars over
Weeks.
weeks, okay? So I have to find a conversion factor that lets me change this years into weeks. So where do I want, where do I want to put 1 year at?
Above.
Put 1 year up here so that the years can cancel, that's good. And then how many weeks?
52.
52 weeks in 1 year. 1 year and 52 weeks are the same thing, so I'm just multiplying by 1. Identity property multiplication. So that equals 100 or $1,742 over 52 weeks. Now all I have to do is change it into a unit rate. So I want it over 1 week.
33.5. Yep.
$33.50 per week. That seems like a lot to me, but what do I know?
Yeah, I don't. Well,
Spend that much money
really,
year.
per week, it kind of depends. You don't spend the same amount of money every week.
Yeah, you probably buy like a lot of back to school clothes and stuff at the beginning of the
Yeah.
school year and Christmas and all that stuff
Although
figures
that's
in.
my parents, not me.
Okay, well
That's why I
these,
said that.
and up to this point, we've looked at a couple of conversions and they've all been fairly simple. They've been one-step conversions. But we can do multi-step conversions. And the thing about these is, these type of conversions, you can do them all, you can line them all up together. You don't have to do one step at a time. You can kind of combine steps, which is kind of neat. So we can make multiple conversions at one time. I want to convert 60 miles an hour into feet per minute. So I need to convert 60 miles in 1 hour. And you know what? I'm going to change this a little bit because I don't like the way this conversion works out. Let's do 80 miles an hour into feet per minute. Okay. I don't know what this is going to do to the numbers, but it'll make it different at least. 80 miles in 1 hour. And I need to convert it into feet per minute. Now I have to do this in 2 steps. Which means I have to have 2 different conversion factors. I can't do it with one conversion factor. So one conversion factor needs to change hours to minutes, and the other conversion factor needs to change miles to feet. So we have to do this in 2 steps. Let's do hours to minutes first. So where do I want to put hours?
On top,
I want to put 1 hour on top, and what goes on bottom?
60 minutes.
60 minutes. And then I can do another conversion factor, multiply by something that changes feet to miles. So where do I want miles?
On top, on bottom.
I want miles on bottom, so it can cancel out the miles that are on top over here. So I want 1 mile. How many feet are in 1 mile?
5,280.
5,280 feet. Okay, so now I can cancel out the miles here. I can cancel out the hours here. And the only measurements I have left are feet and minutes. Feet are on top, minutes are on bottom. That's what I want. And I can multiply straight across. So 80 times 5,280.
Or failure.
No.
224.
No, I read it wrong. I thought it had two zeros.
422. 422,400.
I thought.
422,400.
Over 60.
Oh, that's feet over 60 minutes. Okay, and then divide.
Seven 7,040.
7,040.
Yeah.
7,040 over, that's feet, over 1 minute. Okay, so you're traveling 7,040 feet in 1 minute. That sounds really fast, doesn't it?
That's feet.
That's feet though.
Yeah, 80 miles an hour. I mean, it's a little faster than the speed limit in Kansas, but you probably have driven that far before, that fast before. And that doesn't seem that fast, 80 miles an hour, but saying 7,040 feet per minute, that sounds kind of fast. Yes.
That's a faster highway than that we drove on.
Oh yeah, there's
But really, that's just-
some
The
in.
fastest highway
That's
in the
just like
world goes up
over.
90.
That's like 1.5 miles.
It's it's 1.25 miles, 1 1/3 miles, something like that. All right. So let's look at some more examples. You can do lots of different types of conversions. A high-speed train in France travels at the rate of 320 kilometers per hour. How many meters per second is this? This is going to take a couple of steps. We have 320 kilometers in 1 hour. And,
1 hour and 60.
okay, I can do 1 hour to get rid of the hours, and that is 60 minutes. But I don't want minutes, I want seconds.
So put the minutes on top and change it to seconds.
So 1 minute is how many seconds?
60.
60 seconds, okay? So now, that's good, we've got seconds where we want to, but I have one more conversion factor that I need to do. Yep,
So
I need 1 kilometer on bottom. And what goes on top?
1,000.
1,000 meters.
Oh dear.
All right, so the kilometers cancel, hours cancel, minutes cancel. All I have left on top is meters. All I have left on bottom is seconds. Just do the multiplication. 320 times 1,000 is 320,000.
60 times
One more.
equals 33,600.
On bottom should be 3,600, yes. Don't forget your labels. This is seconds. This is meters.
Actually, 88.8 repeated.
88.8 meters per second. 88.8 meters would be
Wouldn't it be 0.9?
0.9, 88.9 meters. Okay, I didn't have a calculator. 88.9 meters is almost the length of a football field. So a football field in length every second is how fast that train is traveling. That's pretty fast. All right. When skydiving, John free falls at the rate of 176 feet per second. How many miles an hour is this?
Pretty fast.
It's going to be pretty fast. 176 feet per second. And I want to change that into miles per hour. So where should I put feet?
On bottom.
Feet on bottom. 1 foot. 1 foot on bottom. I don't think that's going to work.
No.
I don't want 1 foot on bottom. I want to change it into miles.
So 500.
5,280 feet on bottom. Times, I need to change it into hours on bottom, so I need seconds up here.
1 sec.
Not 1 second. How about 60 seconds up here and 1 minute down here? One more conversion factor where I have minutes up here. How many minutes? 60 minutes is
And 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay? So minutes cancel, seconds cancel, feet cancels. I have miles left on top and hours left on bottom, which is what I wanted. So 176 times 60 times 60.
633,600.
633,600 over 5,280. This is miles. This is hours. 120 over 1?
Yeah.
So 120 miles in 1 hour. 120 miles an hour is how fast he's falling.
That would hurt if you belly fall.
Yes, it would. Wouldn't hurt for long, though.
Parachute.
Ew, he did.
Parachute.
I
Yeah.
did not get that one.
Yeah, I was confused. I just stopped running.
Okay, this one was a different type. The thing that was different about this one is that we're used to putting, well, just going back here, we're used to going from kind of the more standard speed measurement to a different type where we were putting the bigger numbers on bottom there for a while. This one just turned it around. We still have 60 seconds is 1 minute. On the other one, we had it flip-flopped because we were going from seconds to hours or hours to seconds. And now we're just going backwards. You just have to let let what you're changing from be the guide as to where the conversion factors, the way the conversion factors are set up, so that seconds can cancel and such. All right. Now, on page 278, you have a conversion table in your book. Everybody open your books, page 278.
There.
You also have conversion tables in the back of your book, on the back, like the back cover,
Yeah,
back couple of pages.
Last page.
You can use both of those conversion factors. They're pretty much the same thing. Either one will work for you. And these are necessary for some of the things that we're going to do next. Up to this point, we've used similar units of measure. We've gone from kilometers to meters. That's an easy conversion. We've gone from miles to feet. You know those numbers. We've done gallons to quarts and those kind of things. But what happens when you want to change from metric to standard measurement?
Look at this.
You have to use the conversion factors, because I don't expect you to memorize all these numbers, but 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers, or 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles, or something like that. It's
0.621.
So I was close, but I don't expect you to memorize these. But remember this page for your homework when we get to it later. Page 278. You're going to do some conversions. So these are just a little bit different the way we set them up. You start with the beginning number. I'm going to convert 6 miles. Start with that, 6 miles. And I want to change it to kilometers. So where do I want to put miles on my conversion factor?
Bottom.
On the bottom. I want 1 mile. And look at your conversion factor table there. And 1 mile is how many kilometers?
1.61.
1.609 kilometers. Okay? And now miles is on bottom, it cancels out. So 6 times, I don't want to cancel anything out, I want kilometers right here. Okay, 6 times 1.609. 9.654 kilometers. Okay, so, and is this exact? I mean, is this like pinpoint accurate exact?
No.
No, because a kilometer is approximately, notice it has a little wavy equal sign, it's approximately 1.609. Now for this part, I'm going to change colors here, we're going to do this another way. If I start with 6 miles, 6 miles, and I want to multiply it by a conversion factor, what happens if I put 1 kilometer on top? 1 kilometer is how many miles?
It's not even.
It's not.
0.621.
0.621. Well, let's see what happens. The miles cancel out, and now I have 6 times 1 over 0.621. So this would be 6 kilometers over just the conversion factor of 0.621. I want a unit rate, though. I want this to be a 1. So you need to divide. What's 6 divided by 0.621? 9.662.
1.
Okay, I'm rounding it to the nearest 1,000. Okay, so there's 2 different ways we can make this conversion, and that's what makes this part just a little bit more confusing. But I come up with basically the same answer, right?
Okay.
I'm awfully close. We're talking about thousandths of a mile or thousandths of a kilometer, which is not going to be a thousandth of a kilometer is 1 meter. So we're off by a meter when you're talking about 9 kilometers. That's pretty close. For me, the easiest way to set it up is the way we did it first. For whatever unit you're switching from, to always put a 1 on the bottom and then multiply. But this one works as well. Just be aware that you don't want to get the numbers backwards. and you don't want to use the wrong conversion factor. If I put a 1 on bottom, make sure you're using the right conversion factor. Use the table accurately. So let's set up a couple more of these. 12 ounces to grams. So I want to start out with 12 ounces and multiply by something that has 1 ounce compared to grams. So how many grams is 1 ounce?
Oh, 28.350.
28.350. So we're going to cross out the ounces. 12 times 28.350.
Okay, so 340.2.
340.2 grams. So 12 ounces is 340.2 grams. Same weight. We didn't change the weight. We just changed the unit that it was measured in. Let's take 11 yards and turn it into meters. So we have 11 yards. And what do I want to multiply by?
0.914.
Okay, set it up for me. Where's it?
Oh. 1 yard on the bottom.
1 yard on bottom.
And then on top it'd be yard. Okay, 0.914.
0.914 meters. So yards cancel. 11 times 0.914.
10.054.
So 11 yards equals 10.54 meters.
These are easier.
All right. Well, we're going to get to some where you have to do, what we'll start with tomorrow is you're going to do multi-steps with the book. You'll have to change ounces into kilograms. Well, you got to change it to grams, then to kilograms. So you're going to have to do multi-step conversions from the book as well. So we're going to stop here for today, and we'll pick up tomorrow, kind of review what we've done, and then we'll get an in-class assignment tomorrow.